Hi Kanchan, this is Himani and Rashmi from the Entrepreneurship cell of IIM Lucknow. We welcome you to the interview of I Started Up series. We are very inspired with your journey of being a Stanford graduate, a flight lieutenant in the Indian Air Force, and now the founder of LoanGini, a lending fintech that gives loans to salaried millennials in organized sector. Through this interview, we want to deep dive into your experiences that have shaped you up. We'd also love to know the learnings from your new campaign of Apna Desh, Apna Mask and how it has successfully impacted 100 million Indians. It is a pleasure to have you here with us, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Himani, as well as Rashmi. I'm very excited to be here. And IIM Lucknow happens to be one premier management institute of India. And I'm very fortunate, I consider myself very fortunate to be a part of this program. And I'm very happy to share my learnings with you.
So let's start with the idea of longevity shaping up. So were you always motivated to start a, like how did the idea come up?
Sure. So the brief answer to did I always think about starting up? No, absolutely not. I had never thought of starting up. I was because I started off with my career in the Indian Air Force. So so that was one particular phase in life when I was wanting to be a defense person, and then I went on to do my MBA, then joined the corporate and worked in companies such as Satyam Mahindra, one Chinese startup called Safe Software International, and then finally working with Infosys both in India as well as in Hong Kong. So I never thought that I would be starting up because I was my family, people in my family. My father was an army officer, and other people in my family were in the army, navy, air force, but never nobody was doing startups. So. And then how did I actually think about starting up was purely a coincidence. It was a couple of one step led to the other. So it started off with the just the personal experience of trying to take a loan in India in 2014 and finding it a tough process in terms of extensive documentation, long wait times, also a lot of bureaucracy basically at that point in time. And then I found dug a little bit deeper about the particular topic of lending and how are the experiences of consumers like, and found that a lot of consumers have this kind of a pain. The opportunity size was huge, and also then around 2016 is the time frame when I got motivated by the call of our Prime Minister Shri Modi ji about Startup India and Stand Up India, when he said that go out there and be an entrepreneur, and suddenly being an entrepreneur was no longer was not something you did because you didn't have anything to do. You made a conscious decision to start up, and add to that was the if there was the implementation of Aadhaar in India. So that also made me confident enough, and my course from Stanford. I came down from Hong Kong to India and started out with LoanGini. And so ever since I started off, I've dispersed loans, got them back, and I'm at a stage where I'm looking at growing the number of customers that I have post COVID, and just ensuring that the services do reach the people concerned.
Okay, ma'am. So next question I would like to ask is, can you shed a light on the business model of Launchme and how is it promising to the lenders?
Right. So basically, we aim to be a peer-to-peer lender, and our business model is taking a fee of every transaction as basically the as our income. And if you're looking at the lenders, how do lenders benefit? So of course, borrowers do benefit because they are if you're looking at the kind of borrowers that we target, they are people with low or no credit scores, and they find it extremely difficult to get a loan in India. And they form, the market actually is supposed to be for small loans is supposed to be close to $34 billion by 2025. So for borrowers, this is a huge market. As far as lenders are concerned, lenders, if you're looking at only the equity investors in India, there are about 2 million equity investors who invest in the stock market today. And if you look at, from 2 million to the kind of business that global startups who are into stocks are doing, so they have close to 15 million customers on their platform. So even if you don't look at the huge population of India, and if you just look at what is happening globally, so India happens to have this tremendous potential for basically, especially lenders and people who are wanting to invest. So why am I talking about investing here? Because we consider from the part of lenders that this particular platform, LoanGini, will be an alternative form of investment for basically the lenders. So they will get a handsome return on their investment. They would also start getting their returns on their investment back from the next month itself. So they don't have to wait for, let's say, in case of a mutual fund for 4 years, 5 years, or in case of a stock market, still, I mean, you can't be a day trader kinds. Typically, you tend to wait for a little while before you take out your money. So what happens in peer-to-peer lending is you can start getting your interest on your principal from the next month itself. So you really don't have to wait. Other advantage is that you have distributed risk. So basically, out of the five loans that you have invested in, um, God forbid, one particular loan goes bad, then still you have your money invested in four other particular transactions that haven't gone bad. So which is why there's a positivity that all of your money will not go down like in a kind of a stock market crash or a mutual fund scheme going down. So it is distributed risk. And finally, the kind of social impact the person gets to make, they get to help out another person who's not really getting a loan at attractive interest rates. So those are some of the reasons why lenders would be attracted to a platform like LoanGenie peer-to-peer lending. So I guess I believe that this platform has a tremendous potential in terms of both borrowers as well as lenders.
Okay, so could we say that positioning LoanGini as an alternative investment avenue is, say, the USP of LoanGini? And is that how you differentiate it from other established players?
So as of now, we are not doing peer-to-peer lending. Let me make this very clear at this point in time, so as to avoid any kind of confusion. So at this point in time, I would say we are still at an early stage, because in order for somebody to do peer-to-peer lending, they have to take a regulatory approval from the premier top-notch regulator of our country, which is RBI. But as of now, we haven't taken that. We are proceeding towards it. But if you're looking at, how, if we are going to be differentiating ourselves basis peer-to-peer lending, then the answer is no. Because at the end of the day, our consumer or customer just wants a loan. So they don't really care whether it's a peer-to-peer model or some other model. So for us, our USP will be convenience. So right now, what we're looking at is providing a customized experience to a customer, which is who is a millennial, who's salaried, working in Bangalore, and we offer basically small personal unsecured loans to these people of up to 30,000 rupees. So the USP will be convenience, customized experience, as well as low interest rates as of now. But going forward, yes, definitely look at other things as well.
So next question that I want to ask is the one that every aspiring entrepreneur is apprehensive about. So how to get the funding? So how did you manage getting funding for launching?
Right. So as far as funding is concerned, my focus has not been on funding, especially during my initial. So it's been 3 years actually that I have started up, and so my focus has been to first of all understand my customer better, understand the whole process of lending better, and then figure out what are the areas where I'm lacking, what kind of a talent do I need, what kind of a technology will I need, and then looking at funding. So as of now, we are bootstrapped, but we are open to talking to investors and figure out because I'm also looking at investors not only for, let's say, money is concerned, but I'm also looking for because besides the money, the investors can also bring about connects in the industry, can also bring about, can help you with hiring. So those are some of the value adds. And I mean, very key thing for an investor, would be that, if they've been an entrepreneur themselves, that would be a great value add, because they do understand in which case what are you going through and what can you go through, in the future. So that kind of an understanding is really precious, especially at early stages. And so yes, so I'm very open to talking to investors, but bootstrapped right now.
As you had a very different journey, so you were in IF earlier. So will you advise like the people to start after getting some corporate experience, or like the defense experience that you have?
Right, right. So, you know what, Himani, I've seen the people start up right immediately after college as well. So, as soon as they finish off with their, engineering or college, they start off with some venture or the other. And actually, the path to entrepreneurship, and so that also successful entrepreneurship, is not really defined. So there are cases wherein, people, let's say, drop out, let's say Ritesh Agarwal, and they form a unicorn, which is Oyo today. So basically, we have people like him. And then there are others who also drop out of college, but yes, at the same time, they tend to do pretty well. There are others who have done a first venture after dropping out of college, or after college, let's say after college, they've done one venture, they have failed at that venture, then they have gone ahead because they have age on their side, basically. And so if they make mistake, they fail at the first startup, they can go ahead and do the second startup. And I also know of some people who have started up the third time, basically, because you get better with every experience. So as with anything else, I think, with practice you become much better. So it's not like you will, the first venture that you do, you will become immensely successful. Behind the success of the entrepreneurs that you see today, there are many failures. So it's like the typical, what people keep sharing, that picture, that image of iceberg, that you'll only see the person when they're successful at the top, but that beneath you don't see the kind of struggles that they have gone through before, rising up to the top. So that's the life of an entrepreneur. But having said that, you can obviously go in for a startup immediately after doing your college, your graduation. But the other point which I would also like to put forth is that, some of the things that the experiences that you get, like working in, let's say, the corporate. So working together as a team, how teamwork matters, how teams make you win projects, how the success is not because of one single salesperson leading that particular kind of sales um, uh, opportunity. Basically, it has to be, and everybody matters in the team, everybody has to be exceptional, and they have to work like these integrated parts of one whole being, basically. So you must have realized that as you participated more and more in schools, in the college, in IML here. I'm sure, because I've been in touch with two of your colleagues, basically batchmates. There's um, so because of through them, I actually came to know that there are a lot of projects you people are doing as a part of a team. So that those kind of experiences get kind of magnified in a corporate environment, because you're actually getting paid for being there to perform, and there are pressures of performing. If you don't perform, then you're out. Those it's more competitive than a college environment, because college environment, you're still, you're not getting paid for that particular thing you're enjoying. But as you go out in the real world, it becomes slightly more competitive, for this same particular role that you want to get promoted to. There might be three other people or 10 other people, or 70 other people. So that kind of a thing can happen. So because of which there is there's a lot of nuances. You also learn how to work well with people, So that is another learning. So, and if you're working in a big corporate, uh, I because I've worked for companies like Infosys and all. So uh, some of the learnings which we had was that you have to be responsible for your career. Nobody is going to come and tell you that this is what you have to do. You have to basically figure out a lot of things yourself, and those kind of things. So that kind of an experience is very, very precious. That won't come immediately to you. A lot of things will not be understood by you as you go straight away from being in the college to starting a business of your own. So it definitely helps if you have worked for a couple of years in the corporate. You've seen how different functional departments work with each other. How's the how's the teamwork happening? How can you make it a success or become a failure, and things like that. So those kind of and then you're getting paid also while learning all these things. In entrepreneurship, what happens is basically you're burning up your money, and so obviously you'll have to execute pretty quickly, because otherwise you'll run out of money. So the other thing which will also help is, after spending a couple of years in the corporate, you have some kind of a some bank balance that you can use to basically set up your entrepreneurial venture. Because if you go straight away after college, then you'll have to maybe ask of friends and family for money. But after, let's say, saving up enough for, let's say, 4 5 years and gaining experience, then in which case you can use that, however much money there is, to to start a startup. And that way you'll be financially more comfortable. Then the people that you work with also can help you out. So let's say you work 2 years with somebody, and you have persuaded them to leave that particular company along with you. So 4 5 of you decide you do a startup. 4 5 of you leave together. All of you have been getting paid all this while. You're comfortable financially. You have some money, and you have worked together. So those kind of advantages can only come after, if you have been working in a company. They won't come if you straight away jump into entrepreneurship. So then there'll be less cash. Then you have to employ people. You don't know these people. You've never worked with these people. You may click with them. You may not click with them. So those are some of the things that can that you'll have to consider before. And then finally the idea. So how the idea that you have, how much of a runway has that idea got? Is it that it will take couple of years before your particular industry basically before it starts taking interest in that idea? So there's something like drones. Couple of years back, had you talked about drones, maybe 5 years back, there was little interest. People were interested, but they were just curious, and so on and so forth. Today, if you talk about drones, everybody wants to look at okay, what technology you have, what does it do. Government is looking at it, investing into drone technology and things like that. So it also depends on your idea. How much of a runway does it have? If you think your idea is very precious, that you have to start today. If you don't start today, what will happen is somebody else will take the opportunity and run with it, and that market will be gone. So in which case, definitely, then you don't have all this luxury of time. You don't have the luxury of building up team, trying to understand. You have to run with the idea. So it depends on the basically your multiple factors. Your family matters quite a lot. Is your family willing to support you or not? When you're in the company and leaving it, when you are just out of college and leaving it, like basically the support system around you matters. Idea matters. Experience, teammates, money, so many things come together. So it is very difficult to say that this is the prescribed way of doing a startup. So that's what I would say.
That was very insightful, ma'am. So, the next question that I have for you is that, as we all know, that running a startup is very challenging. So, what were the major challenges that you faced in your business, and how did you overcome them?
Right. So I'll talk of some recent challenges that I faced. especially in the COVID era. And so that was a big shock. Suddenly we were hearing of people dying in the corridors in Spain and Italy, and it was a very kind of a dark picture painted all across the world. And we knew that it was coming to India because we started hearing cases, 2 people infected here. Now people are infected in, I'm staying in Bangalore, so started hearing about people getting infected in Bangalore. And since there was no cure and it was transmitted purely through air in direct contact, and we didn't know where this person would have gone around and how much of a infection would he or she have spread. So it was very clear that it is a matter of time before it reaches nearly everybody. It's going to affect everybody in the world. But the point was that how are we going to react as Indians? And that was a big worry. Big population. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be taken care of, also set up and things like that. So basically, all the physical interaction came to a standstill for me from March onwards, and we were asked to stay at home. And so from not doing a lot on online, I started looking at going completely digital, and started looking very seriously about the digital marketing initiatives. How to just let people know that we are there in the on the internet, that we're a company. That's what we do. We give loans. We are looking at financial inclusion. So that was one of the things, to go digital. Then the second one was also work on in the time that we had. I quickly, because I decided not to disburse any loans during that period, which is especially the lockdown, when the lockdown started. So that's the time, because there was a lot of uncertainty, job losses happening, and my primary segment was salaried people. So I decided to cut down on. In fact, I shut down basically lending at that point in time, just to understand what's going on before looking at it seriously. So then started focusing more and more on product development, and so which is why looked at basically developing a credit risk analysis model. So that's those are the two things which I looked at, focusing during these challenges that we were facing. And I think what has helped me face these business challenges is, one is I've been adaptable. So whatever situation was given to me, that just stay at home, don't move. So I adapted to that. I of course didn't go out. And then in those within that framework, within those constructs, I was looking at how creatively I can do something else. So I was flexible about changing my path to my goal, basically, which is to have the platform up and running. So the adaptability, flexibility. The third thing I would say, staying positive, helped me. That in spite of all the negative news pouring in, I managed to stay positive. I took to meditation. So I think this is the first time I started with meditation. Earlier on in my life, I never used to look at meditation, but I think meditation has really helped me stay positive, stay calm. And the fourth thing would be resilience. So every time I have faced challenges, I have got back up, and I have said that I'm going to face these challenges, and instead of trying to run away from them, or getting scared and not doing anything about it, I have decided to take action every time. So resilience actually also helps entrepreneurs. If you have that spirit of that you will face challenges, you will have failures, and you'll have to get back up, and also again try to do another thing. In spite of facing a failure, next day you have to get up again and do another piece of work without letting the failure affect you. So I think that's the best kind of entrepreneur, who don't let any kind of setbacks get them down. So I was listening to Gaurav Munjal of an Academy the other day. He was speaking at Tech Sparks very recently. So that's what he also mentioned, that I'm the kind of guy who doesn't take no for an answer. So this was in reference to basically him trying to meet up with investors. So I think he chased some investors like for a period of close to 1 year, basically. For continuously period of 1 year, he kept on saying, "Can I meet you? Are you here at this particular event? Can I meet you here?" No. So 1 year he pursued people, and after 1 year he got a meeting. I think he got a meeting with somebody because he flew all the way to Dubai and met that particular investor there, got him convinced that please advise me and be a part of my venture. So can you imagine you're pursuing somebody for a period of 1 year, you're not giving up. So that's the kind of metal that good entrepreneurs are made up of, and resilience, not giving up in spite of people saying no to you. So that is extremely important. So I think these four qualities have helped me overcome some of the challenges. But I'm still learning. I'm not there yet, but learning all the time. Yeah.
How do you think the fintech as an industry would evolve, and what opportunities can be foreseen? Also, I'd like to know your vision of LoanGini in the future years.
Right, right. So I think fintech's got a bright future, especially with regard to India. In terms of let's say investments, we are the fifth largest market, and if you're just looking at the fintech market as such, today it's some $25 billion as of now, and it is likely to go up to some $84 billion by another couple of years. So in terms of potential, because of the size of India, the unbanked population, so the potential for fintech especially is immense. So some of the trends which I see going forward are, they are that there are going to be more and more partnerships happening between fintechs as well as other players in the market. So take the case of Amazon, who has partnered with ACO very recently to provide insurance on their platform. We are also seeing that there are also a lot of cross services being provided on one single platform. So a platform like Paytm is looking at doing providing transactions. You can do your spending on it and lending on it and investing on it and many things. So basically, one single platform, many for many things. So that is another trend. Also, because of a huge rural population, also looking at joining the fintech bandwagon at some point in time, there's going to be localization of basically services. So customized and localized services for various geographies, as well as regulation is going to be one important thing to keep a track of and adapt to very quickly. And yeah, and other than that, if you're looking at things like investing in stock markets or just wealth management part of it, that happens to have a very bright future ahead. So yeah, so that is what I foresee for fintech in India. A lot of application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, especially in this particular sector. So very exciting times ahead. And my vision for LoanGini, so as of now, we are looking at reaching across to folks in Bangalore, and our model basically is we reach across to companies, and from companies we reach across to the employees. So we conduct a lot of financial awareness seminars for company employees. So because we believe in being a one-stop shop for people to gain knowledge, not just for transactions or not just for lending should they come, but for their any of their enhancing their knowledge about financial matters, they should come to our platform. So the idea is to make it a place where they feel more comfortable coming to. And for the future, actually, because there happens to be this market of small loans for $34 billion, so there is a tremendous potential for fintechs to basically operate in the market and also cater to the requirements of of the people with thin or no credit file. So that's the kind of vision that we have. We want to be an enduring fintech company. We want to have these strong values, by which we operate, and we want to make a difference to the lives of the people by letting them achieve their dreams, whatever that particular dream may be it education or a better quality of life, those kind of things. So that's the vision for the future.
Okay, so a few things that I could gather was that we should be very quick in responding to changes, and that entrepreneurs should be resilient to the changes, and that they should be persistent. So, what other piece of advice would you want to give to the entrepreneurs, and how should they really resolve the first decision dilemma, which is which idea to pick from and what should they start up with?
Right. So, as far as the entrepreneurs go, my advice would be to, grab the opportunity as it comes, because that's one of the things that I've seen, that, once the opportunity goes past, it's not going to come again. So, as an entrepreneur, you should be ready to, just go ahead and work on that particular opportunity. Um, so that's going to be helpful. Also, be extremely flexible about the kind of paths that you take to reach your goal. So don't get stuck up about, this is what I've decided and this is how it will be. And not only the founder, but also the team that they are working with, that the team is who's there as a part of the initial core team. They should also be mindful that it's not like in a standard company that this is the process, this is how we will follow things. What happens is, because circumstances keep changing, the plan has to change pretty often. So the goal will remain the same, but the plan to reach there will keep changing. So a person has to be adaptive. They have to be flexible enough to and not get frustrated by the frequent changes. So if you're the kind of person who likes stability in the environment, then in which case, then startup is not for you, because startup is full of changes all the time. You have decided on this particular plan. Tomorrow that plan might change because the resources are very constrained. They are not in infinite quantity with you, or even in finite quantity with you, and they are in very scarce quantity most of the time. And time is again very precious, so you have to move very quickly. So which is why, if you're flexible, adaptable, I would say, as an entrepreneur, definitely, you should be that. Then also, no job is small enough. So don't, be humble. Don't consider that this is not my job, and this is a job meant for XYZ, but not for me. If you have that kind of a mindset, you're humble. I think you're definitely going to be thriving. So those are some of the advices that I have for people who are starting up. And in terms of the idea, how to basically decide whether this idea is worth going for and after or not. Actually, if you are day in and day out thinking about that particular idea, and how do you reach that idea is either the idea basically should have legs, in the sense that either the idea should be huge in terms of the opportunity size. So, if it's billions of dollars market, that's the time you should definitely be looking at. If you would go and do a bit of a secondary research on the internet and find out that this particular idea is still unexplored, there's so many challenges in this area. Because of that, this opportunity size is estimated so many, $1 billion. Definitely, that's one idea. And the second way that you can think of going after an idea which is worth pursuing is that, does it make a social impact? So some of the cases, the opportunity size might not be big, might not be worth billions of dollars initially. Let's say you're talking about Alzheimer's disease in India. So I was reading that close to, I think, 4 to 5 million people have Alzheimer's in India. So if you're going to solve it for, let's say, okay, let's just take India. If you're just going to solve it for 4-5 million people in India, but still, if it's going to be a solution for Alzheimer's, imagine the kind of impact that it makes. So that's the kind of social. It doesn't involve billion of people, but even with couple of million of people, 4 million people, if you're going to make them fine, treat, because there's no treatment available, basically, effective. So because of which that idea is worth going after. So either the opportunity size should be big, or it should have a major social impact. So those are the two times that you should definitely consider going after the opportunity. And then should you pursue that if that idea is not leaving you? If you're constantly thinking about that idea, how do I solve that, I need to work on it, that's the time, because that's what an entrepreneur does. They till morning till night, maybe whatever 24 hours, they're thinking about how will they get the job done, basically. So if you're consumed by that idea, that's the time, that's a sign that you should go for this.
Okay, that was a great piece of advice, and we're pretty sure that it'll help all the young minds in rekindling entrepreneurship. And I guess an entrepreneur's quest never stops, like how you didn't stop at LoanGini. Like you saw an opportunity during the pandemic to serve the people, and you had a very successful campaign impacting 100 million Indians. So can you share something more about this?
Yes, absolutely. So this campaign is very dear to my heart because, also because of the kind of people that I got to work with. This campaign, Apna Desh, Apna Maas campaign, was initially started off by a group of people from Startups versus COVID. So, by the way, Startups versus COVID is a 1,100 people strong organization, and which was conceived by Mekan Maheshwari, who is the ex chief human resource officer of Flipkart, and he's also again a founder. He's turned founder again of Udyam Foundation. So Mekin Maheshwari, along with Alok Mittal, who is the CEO of Indify Technologies, which is a lending SME lending platform. So he and a couple of other founders came together, and they said that the startups ecosystem community will do something to support the government's initiatives in fighting corona. So that's when I joined Startups versus COVID, and that team basically started working on Apna Desh Apna Maas, and we actually started working on this campaign because so basically this particular campaign was to convince or persuade all the Indians to wear masks so as to not to get COVID. The second objective behind Apna Desh Apna Mask campaign was to ensure personal hygiene, basically washing hands and ensuring that you don't touch your face very often. And the third was to maintain a social distance from others, at least a 3 feet distance. So these were three main objectives of Apna Desh Apna Mask campaign. And I'm really glad that we managed to reach across to 100 million Indians, and in the process, saving some lives, hopefully making some impact on the rest of the world. So so and in this particular campaign, a lot of startup founders, right from Vijay Shekhar Sharma to Rajan Anandan to Avnish Bajaj of Matrix Partners. They joined us. Then there were celebrities such as Juhi Chawla, Sonu Sood, Dia Mirza, and there was also Vidya Balan who joined us. So basically received a lot of attention. And the wonderful part about this campaign was it was done with 0 rupees spent in a matter of about 1.5 months, and something which would have taken at least 1 crore of rupees, this kind of a campaign. It was done all for free by everyone. Basically, we were voluntary. Other people also chipped in. So it was done on a 0 rupees spend. So that makes me believe in, the Indian values a lot, and, makes me believe in humanity, especially at a tough time like this. And, hopefully it's an inspiration to many, many others as well.
Yeah, that's truly inspiring, ma'am. And we've really learned a lot from your journey and about how to always seize every opportunity whenever there is a lot of money in it or whenever there's a lot of social impact. So, thanks a lot for interacting with us. And on behalf of my team, I would like to say that we love the spirit of yours to create a difference and like to make a difference in the communities that you come from. We feel very humbled to have interacted with you today. So, yeah. Thank
Sure,
you.
it's been a pleasure, absolutely. I'm really wowed by the quality of the people who are there at IIM Lucknow, and would love to be engaged further, with my startup, and really happy to mentor or guide anybody else who wants to work. I just hope that this particular conversation of ours helps somebody. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, Himani. It was a pleasure talking to you today and sharing some of my experiences.